My name is Joakim Tauren. I'm from this company called Visma. I work at product security in Visma, and I'm here to talk to you guys about reeling in the deep. So if you haven't figured out the riddle yet, that means I'm going to talk about phishing. So first of all, I have a message from Keanu to you guys. You're breathtaking. And I also composed this beautiful song fitting the theme, so you can read it. But no, I'm not gonna sing it. I was thinking of doing that, but this is gonna go on tape, so no. But essentially, the last part is basically what I'm gonna talk a little bit about: how to turn your clients or victims into treasured gold. So my clients, your victims. And we've learned that in Visma we work a lot with white hats, pink hats, and sometimes we have to deal with black hats and other kind of bad people. And we've learned that they all love us, even the black ones, because they can steal shit from us. So, but I'm not racist, but today we're gonna focus on the black part of the thing and discuss about how you can become successful. So the background information to this talk is essentially that we've had multiple phishing campaigns targeting specific products within Visma. So you would think, okay, maybe people are just phishing something, some people, stuff like that, but in a lot of these cases, they're actually targeting a certain product and the customers that use this certain product. So now that we have some experience within this area, we've got some XP and we're leveled up. Bing! We have some people behind bars and so forth. Let's share. So who here likes fishing? I like fishing. I like fly fishing specifically. And there's a lot of other fishermen and women here, hopefully. But who here likes fishing? A few of you guys like that too. I kind of guessed that. So there's a riddle. Give a man a fishing pole and he'll learn to fish, right? So maybe I can give you guys a fishing pole. So do you want to achieve greatness in the fishing area? If that is the case, listen here, young buck. All right. So I'm going to give you some advice if you're into fishing. First is know your species, or in this case, enemy or victim. So if you want to be a good fisherman, you'll do some background research, maybe target certain victims that can provide you with the necessary funds that you're after. All right? So that is the first thing. So before you start fishing, of course you have to do some prep work. You have to get your tackle and bait, make sure that your lures are in order, your bait is really sharp, and you have to learn your target. So that means, first of all, you have to know your victim, and you also have to know the target. Study them carefully. The more careful research you do in the beginning phase of your attack, the better the results. So look really closely at the dimension, the target, yes. The other thing is you want to prepare a payload, so you want to send something to your victim. So you should be creative. Maybe you can use astronauts, princesses, kings, whatever kind of your heart desires. You should utilize all of those things because you never know if someone is a fan of, let's say, SpaceX, right? You never know. So utilize your creativity in this process. Try to think of the most craziest things. And actually, sometimes the crazier the idea is, the better the response sometimes, actually. It kind of depends, but you learn as you go. So get some experience, try it out, see what happens, see what works. The other important thing is to induce urgency. So in your message, you want to make sure that they have to click it now, but not like this guy. That's maybe not a good idea. So maybe induce urgency in your message. You have to click it now, or bad things will happen and the world will explode, right? That's really important, and it's a key element in phishing. The other thing is that a lot of people might not actually think about is when you do successful phishing messages, are they written in perfect language? No. A lot of the good ones aren't. So you might actually want to consider, okay, if I want to be really good at this, maybe I should mix Swedish and Norwegian, for example, or Finnish and Estonian. I don't know. The point in this whole thing is that, do you think that smart people will click your links? No. They're the less smart people normally, or they're the really busy ones that don't have time to read all that crap. They'll just click it. And we've noticed that a lot of smart people actually do sometimes click them, but they kind of sometimes actually assume that the system is just fucking stupid. It's like, I gotten weird messages from this system before, I'll just click it. It's fine. So the other important thing when you start doing this is that you need an email address and you need to get some VPNs and shit so you don't get caught, right? Not that easily. And you can buy them or you can just phish them. But then you would have to do additional phishing. So you kind of have to consider, what are the stuff you want to outsource? What are the stuff you actually want to do, right? The other thing is you want to use redirect sites. So when a user clicks a link, it goes to the redirect site, and then it goes to the actual site. And normally, what's getting reported is the other site, which means the redirect site is not reported, and vice versa. So you want to probably mix it up a little bit so you get a nice concoction, so you don't get reported by all the things. And then there's this anti-phishing email server, which we probably don't have time to go into because I don't remember it. And then another thing is, too bad Mikko Hyppönen already left, but there would have been this nice little tip for him as well, or kind of like a hidden message. So Blocker.php, you want to, normally when you get this phishing toolkit, you will have this Blocker.php, so you can block like these annoying malware research companies. So if someone is connecting from F-Secure to your phishing site, you just block them. Because, they have these predefined lists of all the really fun IPs that you should block. The other thing that we've noticed in a lot of these phishing attacks is that when you have software, right, you have your phishing infrastructure, you have software there, you have PHP, you have all kinds of stuff. A really common thing that happens is that these people that do it don't necessarily follow OWASP top 10 recommendations, They might have some kind of security misconfigurations. Usually that's the case, actually. And security misconfiguration is actually one of the most common things we've seen. And if you want to be a great fisherman, make sure that you kind of try to secure your infrastructure. Because you don't want these pesky malware researchers or security people from different companies that you're trying to target to go into your infrastructure and, let's say, we haven't done this, but maybe someone might have, gone and looked at your logs of all the credentials that you've gained by doing this phishing attack. So then you can kind of do other stuff to make sure that these specific listed accounts in your logs, they're, you know what I mean. So one of the most common mistakes that has been seen, I'm trying to be like passive, is, sometimes you have to store the credentials somehow, right? So the easiest way is to just store them in the text file. One of the common mistakes is you put that text file so that you can just browse to it because it's convenient. The other way is you have a security misconfiguration, or you put a shell on your site, right? Because you want to control the site. Let's say you hijack the site, you put your phishing kit there, so you have a shell there. Well, maybe you should protect your shell also, because someone might come in through your shell to look at your phishing kit, to look at your credentials that you've gained through your campaigns, hypothetically speaking. And it might be really interesting, and you might find out, okay, well, in this campaign you gain, let's say, 300 credentials or 200, and they are from these persons and so forth. So maybe you can do some other protective measures to secure those customers, right? Then there is the question of custom domain versus hijacked domain. So you might want to consider which one you want to do. So you have your phishing infrastructure, and of course you need a site that people visit, right? So you might think, okay, I'll just create this awesome custom domain. But the thing is, if it's quite close to the actual domain and it resembles the domain you want to phish, a lot of times some more advanced companies can actually get alerts on the kind of similar naming convention domains. So you might get caught right away pretty soon. So there are some pros and cons with kind of both approaches. One domain type that we've seen, which I find is maybe actually the best or a really good one, is if you can get a domain or hack a server of a company that has gone bankrupt. Because trying to take down a site of a company that has gone bankrupt can be pretty hard because there's no one to contact. You're trying to contact the company that has this, exploited site with a phishing kit, and it's using it to target certain things. So that might actually be one of the really kind of best bets you have, actually. But there's pros and cons with both approaches, right? So you want to consider what your approach should be and what is most valuable for you. Do you want it to look real, or is it fine if it's just like a really strange link, but it's on a really good domain, right? And the other thing that you want to consider, actually, and this is something that I will talk about soon, is time is money. So if you, for example, have a really good phishing campaign, and you can, let's say, you get a lot of credentials, right? But maybe you actually want to do some research on those credentials. Maybe just carefully look into what's behind those credentials and which companies are behind them. Because if you actually do your background information and really carefully select the targets that you go further with, you might be much more successful than going for them all. So a targeted phishing campaign with a targeted company, let's say, with a targeted person, the more specific you go, the better the rate of success could be. So nothing is guaranteed in this business. It's kind of like going to Vegas.
You're guaranteed to lose in Vegas.
Yeah, well, sometimes you might get caught if you don't follow all the good advice I'm giving you, and even still you might get caught. So, but these are just some tips. Some protection tips is if you have a system and it has 2FA, maybe try enabling it. And if your company has forced you to have 2FA on, but you can disable it yourself because it's annoying, maybe think twice. Maybe your system should have login on anomaly detection, because if you have logged in from Finland today, 2 minutes ago, you probably can't travel to Kenya in 3 minutes, right? That is a tip. That's something to think about. And you probably want to have some audit logs to see what has been done in the system, especially if you're handling financial transactions, let's say. And notifications for sensitive changes. But let's just be honest, notifications are kind of like, you know, if they click the link, they're not going to read the notification, I'm just saying. So, okay. Now, first, the story of the Hippo. In this story, we are Visma, we are the Hippo. If you're not familiar with the story, maybe Google that, because it's pretty funny. Thanks. I paid for that laugh. All right, I'm done now. All right, so phishing case number 1, 30,000 euros lost from one of our customers. Step 1 in this attack, phish. Pretty simple. Not too complicated. Step 2, control email and the system. This approval system is a system of ours where you go and approve invoices. Step 2, in this case, establish personal contact with the accountant or the controller. In this particular instance, whoever it was, a criminal, let's just say, has established communications with the accountant. This person has scoured through email communications with the accountant and other really interesting stuff. And they also have credentials to Visma approval. All right. In this particular instance, this person actually went to a spa because he wanted to have a vacation and so forth. And the accountant or controller in this case probably was thinking, okay, maybe he's, working on a laptop somewhere on the lawn or by the pool or something, because he's like answering mails and stuff. And like, oh yeah, the guy answered, yeah, I was enjoying a nice swim this morning, and could you please approve the invoice? Or actually pay the invoice? I just approved it. Please pay out the invoice, right? Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. And so first, you take all the stuff that we talked about earlier, and you kind of go deeper. You look at the invoices. What type of invoices are they? Where are they being sent? Who is sending them? Who's approving? Who's paying? All this stuff. You learn the ins and outs. And then you can get the nice bounty. Right? That's pretty cool. So, profit. In this case, it was 30,000. We've seen bigger and more successful attacks, and one of them is case 2. And if you notice carefully, I haven't put the numbers up yet. I will keep you in suspense, like watching a bad drama series or something. Continues in the next episode. So, how to join the big leagues. Step 1. have a customer that has disabled 2FA because it's fucking annoying. Right? Relatable, says someone here. And that's probably true. So sometimes, in some cases, let's say your system handles a lot of big invoices or a lot of money, maybe you shouldn't give them the option. Just saying. Step 2, go phishing. And the background to this is we have really awesome systems, right? In Visma, we do this back office stuff. We have systems that you can do the whole process really beautifully and automated. So, first, of course, these people went deeper, because you always need to go deeper if you really want to find the gold. So they get these invoices via email. They go to this system called the Document Center. All right. And these are fraudulent invoices, if you haven't really guessed that yet. Then they go to approval, which has been phished. Approve. And AutoPay pays out automatically the approved invoices. Bada boom, bada boom. And there you go. So here's actually a timeline of this incident. And I would like to point you to a specific detail. If you look at the first date here, that is from August in 2018. Password change. Could it be that the phishing infrastructure actually went and also changed the password here? Well, we don't know. But what's really interesting is the next date, which is in January the next year, 4 months later. What? Okay. The other thing is, if you remember that I told you earlier, that if someone clicks the link, they will probably not read the alert. They kind of go hand in hand. So, in this case, 3 alerts in 3 different occasions have been sent to the user, but nothing has happened. So maybe we need better ways to protect our users. I'm not blaming the user in this case. They're just users. We should protect them, right? And the first invoice is approved on January 8th. And a few, I didn't put all the invoices that were approved, but there were multiple ones. And they were ranging in from 30,000 to more than, much more. And here's a bank account map of where the money was sent. Now, someone might be like, that is bullshit. And I dare you. How dare you? It's true, it's bullshit. Only some of the countries on this map were used in this attack, and they are not all here, but let's just say, don't keep the money in Europe if you want to be successful, right? Spread it around, like you should do on the stock exchange. Damn! Holy fuck! Yep. That is how much they stole. Now, if this was my money, I'd go hunt these fuckers. Like, really bad. But luckily it wasn't. So. But of course we hunted them. But I can't talk too much about that. And more campaigns will come, and we will be attacked more and more. So stay safe out there, folks. Protect your customers. Think about protections that you can put in place when and if they're able to disable 2FA. That's a really interesting one. Sorry? Spanky spank? You just wanted me to say that on record, right? And that's it. Thank you, guys.